1975. Sterling Cooper advertisement is no more, non-existent, gonzos. Bert Cooper, he moved to Japan, living the Japanese lifestyle. I like it. Roger Sterling, this guy was having a one night stand with some whoever, doesn't matter. Whatever he did, whatever when he was done, heart attack. Roger Sterling is gone. Joan is unmarried. Shocker. She's independent. She does what she wants. Pete Campbell is now unemployed probably because he's not the nicest guy ever, but that's just a guess. I don't know. The point is, Pete Campbell has nothing to do with his life. So what does he do? He went and travels the world to go find that kid he had earlier in the seasons. He went to go find this kid wherever he is. Peggy is unmarried just because she just wants to be like Joan. That's her idol. I don't blame her. Whatever. She works in advertising and she gives her heart and soul into that. If you love your job, you never work a day in your life or something, yeah. Peggy lives by that. Betty is still with Henry. And they take care of their kids, Bobby and Jean. Happy lifestyle, happy family, whatever. Sally, 18 years old, chases her boyfriend Glenn. Sally doesn't need college. She does what she wants. So she goes and chases the boyfriend. Great idea. Not really. Don and Meg, both dead. Wow. So let's take it back a few years. Before everything went downhill and before Sterling Cooper advertisement went out of business. So let's take it back to maybe like 1970, 5 years ago. So anyway, Sterling Cooper was still in business, but with only Bert, Roger, Don, and a few other idea makers and a few nobodies. As things were going on, taxes and everything just started catching up with Sterling Cooper, and it wasn't looking good. Partners started leaving, they were losing accounts every day. It's not looking good. So for a final push to make Sterling Cooper get back to the top, they try to go back for American Airlines and reacquire that account. So they send in the best, of course. You always bring out your A game. So they send, who else? Don Draper. So to meet with them, instead of flying the CPOs out into New York City, Don goes to Texas to go meet them. It's easier, makes more sense financially, whatever. Meg sees that, hey, I want to go to Texas. I've never been to Texas. Why can't I go? You know what? I'm going to go. Meg jumps in with Don. They take a plane to Texas. On their way to Texas, their plane's turbines go down. Boom, explosion. Plane crashes halfway to Texas. No survivor. Everybody's dead, including Meg and Don. That's pretty much when Sterling Cooper advertisement said, you know what? It's just about over for our company. So now, Meg and Don both died in that plane crash on the way to Texas. They're forced to make their kids live with the only biological family relative, Betty. So what Don originally had planned for his wealth and everything, he planned it for his kids to use the money and go to college and get their education and, whatever. The problem here is that Sally didn't really go to college. She wanted to be independent and not very smart and go chase Glenn off in who knows where. So, yeah, she couldn't take the money because she wasn't qualified. She didn't go to college. So, Betty, taking possession of the kids, illegally took possession of all of Don's wealth. It's not she took the money. It's not right. It's not whatever. Now, Betty here is now rich. She has a lot of money. She has everything now. She doesn't have to take care of Sally because Sally's gonzos with Glenn. All she has to worry about is Bobby and Jean, taking care of these kids, making them grow up to be good people. She fails at that. Well, she makes Jean grow up to be a really good person. She's perfect. Then you got Bobby. See, Betty doesn't like Bobby. She favored Jean, and Bobby couldn't do anything right. I feel bad for the guy. But the point is, he would do something good, and it just wouldn't please the mom. Betty would just be angry. Betty would just rip Bobby, and like it's whatever. So as time goes on, you see Bobby kind of resembling more like Dawn, and what Dawn grew up to be. And well, yeah, yeah. This is where we'll start our story. This is where season 7 to Mad Men begins. This is where the editors and whatever were wrong about their season 7. Because I don't know. Ours is right. This is how it goes down.
Please take your seat.
Thank you.
Would you like anything to drink?
No thank you.
Begin whenever you feel ready.
I don't really know where to start.
How about the loss of your father?
He wasn't really a father to me. He was hardly in my life.
Go on.
Growing up before the divorce when I was little, I never got to see him or be with him. His job required him to go into the city a lot. I guess before I could say goodbye to him as he went off to work, and it wasn't until dinner that I would see him again, sometimes. Weekends weren't filled with much fun either. For the most part, he was gone, and even if he was home, he would just sit around and smoke and drink.
You mentioned sometimes you wouldn't see him when he came home. Explain more.
Well, for example, one night he came home. I remember this because I was coming back from the bathroom and I heard him enter. Everyone was already asleep. I think it was 4 a.m., pitch dark, and he quietly snuck upstairs. I could see him go up, but I just thought it was weird, like he was trying to be sneaky, as if staying in later for work was becoming a bad thing.
You're the middle child, correct? Did that change anything?
No, not really. Adding another child just thinned him out even more. I saw him taking care of Jean and Sally more than me. Definitely because Sally was afraid of him the first few months after he was born.
How do you feel about your brother?
Well, I used to hate him when I was younger, but now I just don't really care at all that much. He's my younger brother. He bugs me, I bug him.
How was Don after the divorce?
Better, I guess. But when he was with Meg, not many things changed. He would come home late, drink a few drinks in his room, and then fall asleep, not paying much attention to his kids. The benefit of the divorce was that I could watch TV and not be worried about my mother.
Do you miss him?
Yes.
You mentioned earlier about Sally. Have you still not seen her?
No. Once she got the chance to leave, she left. She hates our mom. The morning after her birthday, she was gone. No one knew where she went, but I know where she went. She went chasing after her childhood boyfriend somewhere.
Why did she hate your mom?
I believe they're too much alike, as if Sally was growing up to become a Betty.
You mentioned earlier about not having to worry about your mother. How come?
I don't like her. I feel like she's worse than my father, even though she has been around me all the time. Growing up before the divorce, she would constantly yell and punish me. It would always come from small things that she would disapprove of. For example, touching a stereo. I think that was the worst. That ended up with me getting a lot of head poundings.
What are head poundings?
Well, it's her way of punishing me, and when she says to, she will tell me how many times to hit my head against the board, and I'll have to do them. It's always the headboard next to the kitchen, so she can always watch me and make sure that I do them. I think they actually cause more harm than good. In fact, I think she actually gets enjoyment out of watching them.
And she would punish you sometimes if you watch TV?
Correct.
Interesting.
I have constant headaches all the time, and retaining information is becoming more of a struggle. I can't remember much. This could be from hitting my head too much.
Possibly. We could have that checked out later. Now, your stepmother also died in the crash, correct?
Correct. Meg, she was going along with my dad, most likely to do some type of modeling expo or something. I like her.
More than your biological mother?
Yes. Back when Sally was at home, we would always go over to their house and she would always make us spaghetti and meatballs, which beats my real mother's instant ramen any day.
Both Dawn and Meg were pretty wealthy, so did all the money get passed down to you and your siblings?
With the selling of the apartment that they own, all of the wealth that they collectively went to each of our college funds with the overseeing of my biological mother. But I don't think any of that actually went to our college funds.
Why do you say that?
Well, Sally isn't going to college. She chose to go after Glenn, her boyfriend. Me and Jean aren't even close to going into college. I just started high school and he just entered the 4th grade. I think my mom just kept the money for herself. Ever since the money got transferred, she has acted a lot more greedy again. Each week she comes home with a lot more dresses and designer clothes that she only wears once, then never wears again.
How do you feel about this?
Mad! She's already a terrible mother as is. She doesn't need money to provoke her to be any worse.
Does Henry know about this?
No, he's a politician, remember? He only knows problems that are happening outside his house.
Do you like your stepfather?
More than I do my biological dad. He'll actually spend time as a family with us and do things. The only bad part is when both of them are gone. They leave his mother in charge to babysit us because Sally can't babysit us anymore. She's old, mean, doesn't listen, and has a reputation for giving us sleeping pills to make us fall asleep.
Interesting. Well, I will not take anything that she offers if that's the case. Well, Bobby, your hour is up. If you'd like to schedule another time in a couple weeks, please do so on the phone.
Alright, thank you, doctor. Have a good day.